working blasphemy and they sacrifices so that Joey could rise up. So you see how he had to die off too in the Flatiron District in the capital, in Manhattan, my bad, in Manhattan. So you see he had to die off in the Flatiron District. So you understand the whole thing with the Flatiron District, as it's written in Isaiah 45 too. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron. So I had that whole thing with the ascending and descending, and then the whole thing with the flat iron, and then Joey ends up rising up. I'm gonna get into all of that and how his whole rise, he really reached a new level because remember too, he's the big dusty Joey. So when you understand that big dusty is serious, remember as it's written, Satan eat the dust all the days of his life. The serpent to be cursed to eat the dust all the days of his life. So that just goes into the whole thing with the, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The flesh becomes dust and ashes. You see? So he's the big dusty, collecting souls. That's why remember he did the light song. And remember how he went through the voodoo ritual, said he was reborn. Remember that after looking through the fire. So he just let you know he got fallen, possessed, and reached higher levels in the Freemasonry. So you understand it too. Capital Steve, him and his friend Jack, they had the first mixtape was called the Yellow Tape. So I had the Yellow Tape, and then the whole thing, they went to Edward High School. So you see how they went to Edward High School. So you understand, like I explained before, it's a lot of Edwards connecting. So him and Joey went to Edward High School. So you understand the Edward, as it's written in Joshua 22:34, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad, called the altar Ed, for it should be a witness between us that the Lord is God. See what I'm saying? So the Edward is a witness between us that the Lord is God. So you see how all this stuff all comes together. You see how they already talking about the yellow tape and everything. It's already sacrifices that's going to be set in place. Well, you understand too, I'm going to get into the whole thing with the car aspect. The word Christ, christening is the Greek form of charos. Ka means soul, Ra means light. So Israel, Israel, Kara, Charas, the anointed one. So that's why they got their cars and they have people behind the wheels themselves being their own gods. But when you understand it, the reason why I brought it up is because, Joey, if you pay attention to his career, they go through the rapping first. That rapping goes into that embalming. It goes into that christening, the anointing, to be placed in the tomb. Remember, the Messiah, as it's written, will be placed in his king's chamber within the altars. So, they go through their blasphemy of becoming actors, because that all goes into the role of playing a role, which all goes back to a character. So, they become a false character. You see? So that's why Joey, notice how he got connected with Canaan. Canaan, raised in Canaan. Canaan just goes into the promised land. And, he's in the role of the beginning of Canaan's life, which basically is symbolic of the ancestor role type of symbology that Joey plays on Unique, on raising Canaan. And remember, he conquered death. On the, on the show Raising Canaan. And also on the scenes, now I don't want to pull up too many, but remember on the show, his brother Ronnie on the ride of him. Remember, Ronnie was always needing Joey to give him a ride around, and he got tired of it. And then remember, he ended up carjacking people, getting his own car. Remember that on the show Raising Canaan. So you see that whole thing. Joey was unique, and he was just playing that role. Remember, on